Hello, Isaiah here with another Lightboard training video. Today I'm going to teach something that I've never taught on before. How to get hired in 30 days. This is one of the most common questions that I get. Most people can't, they can't handle the answer, okay? Because if you really want to get hired in 30 days, it can be done even if you have a full-time job, even if you have a family. This is something that I've done before, and I've seen countless other PhDs in dozens and dozens of countries do this, exactly what I'm about to show you, and you just have to make a decision to do it. It's usually something that PhDs can't do until they're in massive pain, unemployed, can't pay their bills, etc. Don't wait for that to happen, okay? You can get hired in 30 days, right? So how to get hired in 30 days. And this can be reframed as a question in terms of how I'm going to answer it is, what would I do? If I had to get hired in 30 days, what would I do? First of all, I'm not going to do the normal PhD thing where I obsess over the perfect job. I got to find the perfect job. This is industry. The job market's on your side more than it's ever been before. There's a labor shortage. Like, you have your pick of jobs, and job titles are negotiable. So I'm looking at like a handful of jobs. I'm going to be looking at like 6 to 12 job titles or tracks, right? And I'm gonna get a cursory knowledge of these job titles and tracks. Again, I'm not going to do the PhD thing where I need to understand the job that I've never worked in before. It's got to be perfect. What if I get into it? This is not grad school. This isn't a 5-year postdoc contract, okay? This isn't a professorship. You can leave 3 months after you get hired if a better deal comes along. Companies will cut you in 3 months if you're not a good fit. You can do it. So all of this nonsense about I got to stay there for 12 months, look, this is not, the early 2000s. It's not the 1980s. You can go after multiple jobs. If it's not the great fit, you can ask to move around. I mean, think about what companies are doing right now. They're saying, just give us your resume and we'll decide which job's the right fit for you. They're desperate for labor. It's on your side. It may not feel like, right, the job market's on your side because you're invisible, but it's on your side. So don't obsess over this. I'd be, okay, 6 to 12 job titles, that's what I'm going after. I'm going to read through a few different job postings for each of these titles. I'm going to understand them, and then I'm going to go. I'm just going to go find these jobs that are out there, and I'm going to start positioning myself for this target, okay? So this is, let me use a different color here. This is your target. That's really what you're doing. You can't position yourself for anything if you don't have a target. I'm just saying don't get super particular about that target if you're trying to get hired in 30 days, okay? The second thing that I would do, you need a base version of your resume. Your academic CV is not going to work. The ATS systems, they can recognize the work experience section, the summary section, which is why you shouldn't get creative with those, bolded headers. Like, just make it simple. Summary, work experience, right? Education, ideally in that order. Underneath that, though, I want the ATS system to look at me. If I only have a postdoc, a TA position, a graduate research assistant, and that's what's right under work experience in bold as my job title, I'm going to get weeded out most of the time. It's a showstopper. Okay, instead, you want to put the skills that you have, right? So if you want to get into a project management role, put project management skills. I don't care what a recruiter or career counselor or whatever says to you once they see your resume. They would not be looking at it if it did not go through the ATS system. So if I'm trying to get hired quickly, I'm using a functional resume format, and I'm getting it done as quickly as possible into a base version because I know I'm going to have to target it later. So get your base resume updated and make it functional. Okay? Now I'm doing the same thing with LinkedIn. I'm updating LinkedIn. I'm going to do it all in, just to hit it with the sledgehammer, I'm going to get it all updated. I'm going to take all of these job titles here, right? So I'm taking these job titles and I'm putting them into a word cloud over and over again until I see the keywords that rise to the top. I'm not dabbling in keywords. I'm looking for like 30 to 50, right? 30 to 50 keywords to put into my LinkedIn profile. I'm getting this all done in one shot, okay? Do it in one shot. And then after that, I'm updating my LinkedIn profile on a daily basis, okay? Update daily. The number one thing that LinkedIn looks at to see if you're serious about getting hired, which means they'll supercharge you in the visibility settings, is if you're updating it daily. Think about it. Like, only the people who are serious about getting hired are updating their LinkedIn profile. Everybody else is just like scrolling through LinkedIn looking for opportunities. When you get serious, and if you've gotten serious, you know this is one of the first things that you did is started updating your LinkedIn profile. So I want to get it updated in one big shot and then continue to update it with small tweaks just to show that activity because it really affects the SSI score on LinkedIn, which is the visibility score. Okay? Then what am I going to do? Okay, this is the most important one. This is number 4. I'm going to connect with 10 people on LinkedIn per day. On LinkedIn per day. And then I'm also going to follow up with anybody else who got back to me from these initial connections. This is the most important thing you can do. Like, I would be living and breathing on LinkedIn. If you do this quickly without all the emotion or fear, uncomfortableness of whether or not they're going to reply to you, okay, you will rapidly grow your network, and you'll create deal flow where things are happening behind the scenes. People are talking about your candidacy. Employees get a referral bonus, average $2,000 to $3,000 if they refer somebody who gets hired. So if you do this correctly, if you use the right scripts, if you're reaching out, if you're adding value, this can grow. Now, I would increase this. Like, let's say I start getting to the level of where every 10 people I reach out to, 5 of them connect back with me. LinkedIn's going to allow me to connect to a lot more people. So I'd start ramping that up to maybe 20 per day, maybe 30. Maybe I'm going to get premium so I get some in-mails and I can reach out to even more people. Are you serious about getting hired, or are you just talking about it? Like, are you just hoping that somebody's going to come along and save you from your bad situation, or do you actually want to get hired in 30 days? If you do, this is what it takes. Okay, I have a lot of PhDs that come to me and say, I've tried everything. You know, I've followed all these methods. I'm doing everything correctly. Okay, but are you increasing the volume of what you're doing? Are you continually increasing the quality? Are you looking for the highest impact items? Are you really digging in with the ferocity that you'll need to if you really need to get hired in a short timeline, okay? Number 5, I'm going to apply to 3 to 5 jobs per day. Okay? 3 to 5 jobs per day. Okay, I had to kind of smash that in. I'm going to apply to 3 to 5 jobs per day. Why is this important? There's plenty of jobs out there, plus 8 out of 10 jobs, right? They're not even posted online. So I'm going to be finding out about those jobs from doing informational interviews from these people that I'm building relationships with. Right? So whether they're posted online or not posted online, I want to apply to 3 to 5 jobs per day. That means you have to target your resume, right? So this means targeting that resume to every individual position by, again, taking your keyword game to a much higher level, like 30 keywords from the job posting, if there is one, to be able to apply to that job, 3 to 5 per day. And I'm going to be doing it at a high level of quality, because if I'm going to apply to a company, I don't want to burn a bridge with that company. And then immediately when I apply, I'm reaching out to 5 to 10 people at the company. Notice there's no waiting here, okay? There's no waiting. So I'm applying to these jobs per day, and then when I apply, I'm connecting with 5 to 10 people that are in the same positions that I just applied to, decision makers, hiring managers, possibly more. I talk to so many PhDs, they're like, well, I don't want to connect with this person, or I don't want to be seen looking at their profile on LinkedIn. I'm like, are you crazy? Do you actually want to get hired? That's exactly what you have to do. Do you want to get hired in a short time period or not? Are you serious about it, or are you just talking about it? Okay, the final thing that I'm going to do, and there's really 3 things here. Let me see if I can make this a different color. So this is going to be, number 6, which is really 3 things. It's going to be, can you see that? You probably can't even see that. Let me use this. This might be the most important thing to do. So I always get a question of like, okay, well, after that, what do I do? Right, so number 6 is 3 parts. A, I want you to constantly create leverage. I'll talk about how to do that. Reaching out to people who work at the company after you've applied, that's creating leverage. Talking about your skills in the right way, following up by adding value, that's creating leverage. I'll come back to that, right? I'm constantly following up. And some of you, I hear from you and I say, I applied to this position, everything went really well. It's been 3 weeks, should I follow up? Yeah, you should have followed up 2.5 weeks ago. Okay, this job market moves quickly. This is not academic time, okay, where it takes 10 years for anything to get done. This is industry job. We need to hire and fill for this position yesterday. Okay, companies, they can't keep up with their own growth today. They're looking for you. They want to hire you yesterday. Follow up like in 3 days. Follow up every 3 days. I love the 3-day mark right now. That's what I would do if I wanted to get hired in a short amount of time. Follow up, and then I need you to lean in, right? Because you're going to get uncomfortable in your job search. You're going to feel that, well, I don't know if I really have these skills. I don't know if I can put these skills on my resume. Well, you don't have to have expertise in those skills. You can say you have the ability to do them or the ability to learn them. It's all about creating the best argument for yourself. So I need you to lean into your job search, have extreme confirmation bias that you can do it. You have to step up. This takes a certain level of self-confidence in a healthy way, a certain level of self-efficacy, right? Knowing that you're competent enough, and you are as a PhD, to learn on the job to do anything. So when I'm having conversations with people, or when I'm uploading resumes, or I'm talking about myself on LinkedIn, whatever it takes, you have to be your own best advocate. Nobody's going to do it for you. So I'm leaning in over and over. Everyone's going to get uncomfortable. I do. When I talk about skills I have, or I really put myself out there, like, I know I can do this, but I have this fear I'm going to be judged, or somebody's going to say, we all have this like perpetual, in the cloud in our head, thesis committee that's always like sternly looking down at us and is going to like look for holes in our logic. We've all taught to be reviewers and to look for holes in people's logic. So we think, oh, well, if I say I've done this and they really ask this question, I haven't exactly done it. Who cares? You can learn to do it. Okay, you have the ability to learn to do it. You can learn on the job. Lean in, follow up, build leverage. What do I mean by leverage? I mean, you're constantly trying to connect to as many people as possible at the companies you want to work at. You're constantly following up, but you're doing so by adding value, not by saying, hey, just seeing if you got my last message. Hey, is the job still open? You're saying, thank you again for your time for the informational interview. Really excited about the role here. Here's an article that I read based on something we talked about. I thought you'd like to read it. Right? Something like that, like a message, even if it's a hiring manager and recruiter, you say, thank you again for meeting with me, or, I uploaded my resume and I just wanted to reach out to you to say, definitely read my resume before you make a decision on this role because I know I'm the best fit for it, and constantly sell yourself into the close. All right, so this is what I would do, and I'm trying to ramp up your energy levels a bit. I'm trying to help you have enough confidence to really go all in and realize your efforts will pay off. Most of us hold back because we're like, we want to guarantee, well, I don't want to do all this if it's not going to work out. What if it's not the perfect job? You're blinded by your own desire for perfection, which is really just a screen for your fear of rejection. So if you want to get hired in 30 days, do this. As always, remember your value as a PhD and start thinking and acting like a successful industry professional.